I want to leave Chicago alone. I genuinely do. I want to let Chicago breathe. I want to let Chicago do what Chicago do, which is to continue to be dusty. Honest to God, I really do want to let Chicago, but they can't get out of their own way. Have you ever seen a city that is more dedicated to destroying itself in modern age than Chicago? I have never witnessed it. We are literally witnessing the implosion of a whole major city because this ain't, Bumblesack, Arkansas, right? This ain't Bumblebee, Mississippi, or Terra Tree, Arizona, or some hidden town with 13 people in it, or 1,000, or 2,000, or 3,000, or 4,000. This is a city with millions and millions of people in it, and we are watching the implosion of it in real time. No, Flint was never as big as Chicago. Detroit ain't even close to the size of Chicago as far as the population. We have not witnessed the implosion of a city, the self implosion of a city like this big, ever. Not in our lifetime. Not in our lifetime. We have not witnessed it in our lifetime. And it's crazy to watch it in real time because it's not an economy situation. You know what I'm saying? Like when Detroit went bankrupt, and we had less than 1 million people in the city at when Detroit went bankrupt, probably somewhere around 600,000 people. A city that was designed for 2 to 3 million people had 600,000 people in it. It was a long time coming. We never recovered from the mindset from the 67 riots. Eventually, we got all black leadership, all black schools, all black everything. Was and still are the largest blackest city in America based off of per capita population once you go past a certain threshold. And it was a long time coming. So by the time I grew up and going into the 80s and into the 90s, and you had Mayor Coleman Young, and they wouldn't work with the suburbs, and they had this exact same mentality, but it wasn't as big as Chicago. There were multiple factors because we still had a strong industry. We was a manufacturing capital of the world. We had all of the suppliers. We had all of the auto companies, the Detroit Big Three, and all of that. And so the real nail in the coffin for Detroit was the 2008 housing crisis, because when physical jobs and physical industry started to be impacted, in addition to the banking system and the housing crisis, and they laid off hundreds, and I mean hundreds of thousands of people from the auto industry alone, which was a trickle down effect to every other industry that was interdependent on it, we adjusted, right? And we got a different mayor. We got Mayor Mike Duggan, who was a hospital CEO, and he started looking at everything from a business perspective. And so they started working with other leaders instead of raising taxes and doing all of that stuff. Once we emerged from bankruptcy, they started to embrace their alumni, the people that were from Michigan, that were business leaders, the Dan Gilberts, the Illiches, even the CEO of United Warehouse Mortgage, Matt Ishba, right? And so all of the business leaders, Mike Pinsky, and so on and so forth, right? They started working with each other and working with the city because they knew that being beneficial for them and beneficial for the city would also be beneficial for the people, and that everybody would benefit. And so I have a unique perspective of being able to observe it happen in real time. Being an 80s baby, the 90s raised me. I watched the implosion and the downgrade. I caught the bus every single day to downtown Detroit to go to the greatest high school in the city, Cass Technical High School, right? And so right in the heart of it, walking through Greektown, looking at all of the city, looking at everything that was happening, watching Don Barden walk through Greektown, and he sold his cable company, right? I watched it in real time. I was fortunate enough not to have to read it or look at the media spin it, but I had an opportunity to watch it in real time. And I seen it mayor by mayor, city council by city council. I seen the corruption. I seen them stealing from the schools, the superintendents. I seen the disinvestment from the city because they wouldn't work with the business leaders and all of this stuff, right? And we were super liberal inside of the city. And I watched it in real time. And instead of them diversifying like we did now, because we are the largest mortgage broker city in the United States of America, and then working with all of the different regions, Metro Detroit, all around it, what we did was we decided that we wanted to still hang on to racism and the 67 riots. Well, the minute that we disinvested from that mentality is when the city started thriving. Now, we've had 11 consecutive years of budget surpluses, and we have a population increase instead of a decline. And so we're on the right track. We've been balancing the budget. We got more police officers. We fully staffed. And it doesn't mean that the city is perfect, but it means that we're significantly on the right track and we're growing, and it's a lot of investment coming into the city. So to watch it happen on a larger scale, when you're talking about Chicago and Los Angeles, is heartbreaking because I see it playing out, but on a much, much larger scale. And so I'm watching it and I'm telling you, hey, listen, this is what's going to happen. The property tax is going to go up. The value of the property is going to go down. People going to come in and swoop it. Y'all got a $1.15 billion budget deficit. Last year it was $1 billion. The year before that it was $700 million. It's growing. Next year it's going to be 1.2, 1.6 billion. You got a $734 million budget deficit with the schools. You asking the police department to cut $100 million, and they already down over 1,000 police officers, and they're underreporting crime. I've watched all of this happen in real time. I've watched it happen. And then you guys continue to vote the same way, and you continue to say, well, don't talk about us. No, we gonna talk about you because you're national news. We gonna talk about you because you're national news. And then you got this situation happening right here.
Meanwhile, in Chicago, sources telling Fox News police there were told to actually stand down on helping ICE agents who are in danger. Mike Tobin has this story for us, all the details. Hi, Mike.
And Dana, we've got a lot of rank and file Chicago police officers behind the scenes telling us that they are outraged that the stand down order went out to them after federal agents were attacked. The order.
It's a lot of rank and file members behind the scenes. And I've already known this. You know why? Because I got an inside look with several different police officers that work for Chicago PD that is telling me what is happening behind the scenes. So regardless of what the media is selling y'all, the greatest thing that happened in media is that we got independent content creators that have their own sources, that tap in with people on the ground, and then they also go after national news to compare and contrast and then draw their own conclusions. I've already known this. I've been telling y'all this for a long time. Rank and file members don't like Brandon Johnson. They hate him. They hate him. They don't rock with him. But they can't say nothing because they actually work for the city of Chicago. They pissed. They are pissed.
Appears to have come through a communication from the chief of patrol over the communication through the Office of Emergency Management and Communication, reading, no units will respond to this. Multiple police sources have confirmed to us the message is authentic, and it is backed up by audio of the stand-down order.
And again, per the chief of patrol, we have all the units that per 999. Chief of Patrol said all units clear out from there. We're not sending anybody over to that location. All right, and 999, just to confirm, 39th Police in Kedzie, they were saying that they were being surrounded by that large crowd, and they were requesting the police were not sending. I'm waving off all the cars heading to 39th Police in Kedzie.
Again, those are the orders we're being given.
In an official statement, CPD says officers did respond. Writing, quote, CPD responded to the scene to document the incident. CPD officers were also on the scene to maintain safety and traffic control. Now, chaos was triggered when, according to federal prosecutors, two individuals used their cars to ram the cars of Border Patrol agents. One of the agents shot a driver of one attacking vehicle. Those attackers are now charged federally. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says the facts need to play out.
We don't have a lot of facts. Remember, these are the same folks who killed a person, unarmed person, just a couple of weeks ago in Franklin Park. At first, they said that the officer had been threatened with his life. The reality of it and the truth of it has now come out, and that wasn't the case. They killed somebody. They are just putting out their propaganda, and then we've got to later determine what actually happened.
So J.B. Pritzker, the Illinois governor, who has denied you guys funding for your schools in order to shore up the deficit, and you have a significant amount of layoffs for your schools. I wonder how it is. How awesome is it for you guys to have much bigger class sizes, less funding, no raises for the teachers, and illegal migrant children also, you got to teach them inside the young Chicago schools? You got J.B. Pritzker right here sitting here telling you that, you know what, I'm not so sure if that's true. You got the evidence, we got the audio, we got the actual physical. They put it in the system not to respond and all of this stuff. So we see all of it in real time. And he's telling us, oh, no, you don't see anything. You don't see nothing. It's not really there. Got it.
300 Illinois National Guardsmen have now been called up for a 2-month deployment to Chicago. What you're looking at right now is video of the scene that triggered that particular radio call. Tear gas and pepper balls were deployed into the crowd after agents said they were attacked. But meantime, as I just mentioned, 300 Illinois National Guardsmen have been called up for a 2-month deployment to Chicago to protect federal personnel and property. Also, Texas National Guardsmen, 400 of them, have been called up for deployment to both Illinois, to Portland, and an undetermined location. Back to you, Dana.
All right, Mike, thank you.
Hey, it's Will Kane.
Let me go over real quick and let me give it to y'all from another perspective.
We are signing an executive order aimed.
I didn't even realize that the woman that's right next to Brandon Johnson on his right shoulder had a bullnose ring. Just ignore it. I didn't even know that it was professional for you to wear a bullnose ring as a person that works in a corporate or a public setting like that. Is that what y'all do? I have never seen it in corporate America. Like, I've never seen chicks that dress like that, that look like that, that have the bullnose ring. I don't know. Maybe it's a community activist that I'm not aware of. I've never seen this level of diversity, equity, and inclusion before in my life.
At reining in this out-of-control administration, the order establishes ICE-free zones. That means that city property and unwilling private businesses will no longer serve as staging grounds for these raids.
Chicago's mayor looks to ban ICE agents from city property as ICE agents continue to find themselves under attack from rioters. This after Chicago police were reportedly told not to come to their aid. But Chicago's top cop says that's not true.
Our officers were not told to stand down. Our officers were out there throughout the entire event.
Now, I could be wrong and I could be hearing things wrong, but I thought that that's exactly what it said.
Meanwhile,
no
in
officers
Chicago,
is going to be
telling
responding to that location.
Fox News, danger.
And Dana, at the station through these, multiple police sources have confirmed.
And again, per the chief of patrol, we have
Per the chief of patrol,
all the units that per 999, chief of patrol said all units clear out from there. We're not sending anybody over to that location.
we're not sending anybody over to that location.
All right, and 999, just to confirm, 39th Police in Kedzie.
Just to confirm.
They were saying that they were being surrounded by that large crowd.
They were being surrounded by the large crowd.
And they were requesting the police were not sending.
And they were requesting the police that we're not sending.
I'm waving off all the cars heading to 39th Police in Kedzie.
I'm waving off all the cars that are headed over there. Now, you may have some great police officers that decided that they want to go and respond anyway, but it's very clear we're listening to it and dispatch is saying it in real time. So I'm trying to understand and I'm trying to be very, very clear. Am I hearing what I thought I heard, or am I hearing things and I'm translating it differently than what he's saying is not happening?
I would never tell our officers to stand down, because if our officers were in trouble and we needed help from other officers, I would expect those officers to step in and help us. And it's the same thing that we do on our side. When someone is in trouble, we're going to step in.
Well, let's bring in John Hoyt. He's the National Fraternal Order of Police second vice president. John, thanks so much for joining the program. Now, the superintendent, that may be true from his perspective, but when it comes to the commander of the patrol, this is the audio that we heard. Let's play it.
So the chief of patrol, clear everybody up. We're not responding over there.
So am I hearing it differently? Because I'm hearing it from multiple different sources now.
Again, per the chief of patrol, we have all the units that per 999. Chief of patrol said all units clear out from there. We're not sending anybody over to that location.
So, of course, there was pushback because we all know in law enforcement, you hear 1033, 1013, you show up to help cops.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you for playing that. It's important that the public knows the reality. You know, I appreciate.
Somebody said the chief of patrol is different from the chief of police. Listen, what he said is we did not do this. We would not do this. He did not say I. And I hate to break it to you guys, but the people that work for you also is a reflection of your leadership. Let me use a real example. When Jaguar, right? When they dropped them stupid cars and they went really woke and all of this stuff, guess what? Whoever the chief designer is, whoever it was, when Target decided that they wanted to put LGBTQ stuff for little girls and boys inside of Target, guess what? Nobody went to the store owner, nobody or the store manager, nobody went to the associates, nobody went to the general manager, the chief technology officer. You know whose head they called for? When Budweiser decided that they wanted, or whoever the beer company was that brought in the LGBTQ movement and everybody revolted about it, guess what they started? Who they started holding accountable? Complaints go up, they don't go down. So when they say we, and if your police officers do something, or if heads got to roll, it starts from the top down. It does not go from the bottom up. When I see people talk like that, I know that you are not a strong leader. And I start to question whether or not a woman should even follow you, because you take no ownership and responsibility as a man. If my daughter, and this is why I said that people need to start holding their children accountable. If my daughter go out there and do something she's not supposed to do, that's my daughter. I need to handle that. I need to address that before she leave the house. What we got going on in the house, I need to set that straight. When she leave out, she's a reflection of me. Same thing for my girl. Same thing for this person. Same thing for that person. You are a reflection for the organization that you work for. That's why it's not enough for you to just do your job. It's also important for you to be a cultural fit.
Appreciate the superintendent's words. That's what he should be saying. But clearly there's some form of disconnect if his command staff is giving orders not to respond to help our brothers and sisters in federal law enforcement. And quite frankly, as police, whoever it is that calls us for help, we can't be selective in who we decide to help, whether it's another law enforcement agency or the public. You know, our ethos is helping people. That's what we do as law enforcement. And as someone who's been in a situation where you need to call for help as you're getting surrounded and overrun, you know, I question whoever that commander was that gave that order, how much time they spent on the street as opposed to studying for promotion, because quite frankly, completely unacceptable to ever give that order.
I think that Chicago is having a fracture within leadership, within their ranks. I think that it's a lot of people that disagree with what's going on. And Brandon Johnson is in chaos. He is losing complete control. J.B. Pritzker is losing complete control. All of them. Their leadership is in question. And Brandon Johnson has been under fire since he's joined the Chicago mayoral's office and being an incompetent leader in himself.